Hi everybody, it's Soap Man. I'm going to try a new recipe today, as promised. I've actually done this design before. I'm using a different mold. The one that was actually meant for this particular mold. This is a vertical wood mold. You can see that. And look inside it. There's one chamber and a divider and another chamber. I'm going to pour one color in there, one color in there, pull that centerpiece out and give it a twist. And that's one of the things that makes this mold unique that you can do. Now, I've used this mold twice. The first time I used it, I did the twist. It was sort of okay. I had issues breaking those plastic sides off. I had to cut it off. I was not happy. I did it another time. I just poured a thin trace inside without that center divider in it, and it poured all over the place. I threw it in the trash. It made me mad. I left a bad review, which I hated to do, but I left a bad review. People have used it and done well with it. I'm an experienced soaper. I should be able to do the same. I wanted to give it one more try, so we're going to do that today. This is a recipe, a design. It's not mine. It's my recipe, but it's not my design. You can go to soapqueen.com and find it. It's called, I believe it's called the Sunshine Soap. It's going to have kind of a white side with calendula leaves in it. Gives it a nice look, nice texture to it. And the other side is going to be sort of an orange with, sort of an orange. It's going to have lemon. This is Brambleberry's Fizzy Lemonade, dispersed in some oil. And I'm using their 10X orange oil. Now, citrus oil generally doesn't do well in cold processed soap, but this has been refined 10 times. And I used it the last time. It held its scent very, very well in cold processed soap. I did this recipe and just used a loaf mold and poured one color on the bottom, let it firm up, and then poured the other color on top. So I'm going to try it again with this mold. I've done something different. First of all, I'm using a different recipe. My recipe is 22 ounces coconut oil, 22 ounces olive oil. That's still my 50-50 ratio. I'm using 6 ounces of lye, 14.5 ounces of water. This is a 10% super fat, so it's probably going to be a pretty soft bar of soap, at least at first. And I rub baby oil all over the inside of this mold. Baby oil, which is also known as mineral oil, does not saponify. So hopefully it's going to stay oil on the side and help those break loose early. The last time I did it, I just could not get them loose, so they're hopefully going to break loose more easily. So here we go. The lye is about 110, the oil is about 100. The lye is about 120, the oil is about 100. So it's a little bit off, but we're going to go ahead and do it anyway. My lye water is cloudy because it has Tussa silk in it, which I always do. I just realized I don't have my gloves, so I need to go ahead and put this in the sink. Get some gloves on. I have my goggles on. I don't want to have any lye burns on my skin as well. I should have done this first. Sorry. Everybody who's swatched knows this. I'm going to go ahead and take my stick blender and mix this up to a semi-thin trace. I want a thick trace eventually, moderately thick trace eventually. But we're going to start out with a somewhat thin trace. And I make a mess over here. That's pretty well emulsified, and that's all I want to just start out with. So, get something to put my stick blender in. And I'm going to split this into two. It's going to be approximately 4 cups each, and it doesn't have to be exact. It can be approximate. But I need to get it fairly close. Alright, there's 4 cups in that one. And, oh, that's almost exact. I mean, that is so close. That is so close. Alright, now I have my batter split evenly. What I want to do in one side is put a teaspoon of titanium dioxide dispersed into an ounce of grapeseed oil. And on the other side I want to put a teaspoon of Brambleberry's Fizzy Lemonade dispersed into a tablespoon of grapeseed oil. So I'm going to take a whisk and whisk it in first of all. And it's okay because I'm going to want a pretty thick trace for this, so I'm not going to worry about keeping this too terribly thin, but I want to go ahead and mix it in well first. I'm going to do the light side first. And do the yellow. And it's just a very light yellow now, but this scent oil I'm going to put in really is going to darken it. Now what I want to do on this side, on the white, I want to get it thicker. So I'm going to go ahead and stick it in there for a while. I want to go ahead and put my calendula leaves. This is calendula leaves. It's 1/4 ounce by weight. There's a lot of calendula leaves in there. It's approximately, let's see, it's approximately 1¼ cup, but that's a lot of calendula leaves by weight, even though it's just 1/4 ounce because these guys are light. So I'm going to go ahead and mix those in. I just want to use my whisk at this point, because if I use my stick blender it'll just blend them up to pieces, and I don't want that. I want the whole pieces in there, but get them mixed in well. Okay, I have approximately, this is already measured, I have approximately 2 ounces of Brambleberry's 10X, what do they call it? I don't see the name on here, but it's 10X orange. It means it's been distilled 10 times, so this is actually going to look brown. Now, let's get this out of the way so you can see here. You see this is a nice bright yellow, but look at this. Do you see it? Yeah, you do. Watch what happens when I pour this in. Look at this. See that brown? That's what this looks like because it's been distilled so many times, but it's going to give it a great color. I'm going to use that to my advantage. I'm going to get those calendula leaves out of there. And mix this in with the whisk first. Looks, and actually, I'm not a big scent fan, but this smells good. It really does, I gotta admit. And because this has been distilled 10 times, I've used it before, it holds its scent really well. It does a great job holding its scent. And it's made this a really nice golden buttery color. I'll take my stick blender. With me, for goodness sake. Burp the air out of it, mix this in and get a nice thick trace. that's all I'm going to do. So let's get this out of the way. You quit fighting with me. Just stand yourself up. Yeah, that's a nice truth. I don't want it super, super thick, but I want it moderately thick. And that's just about right. Okay, now what we're going to do is go ahead and pour each of these colors into each side of the mold. You're not going to be able to see this, unfortunately. Just bear with me for a minute. I'm going to pour one side there, and I'm going to pour them at the same time, best I can. We've got a nice thick trace on both of them. So far, it's looking good. Okay. Now let's tap this down. I'm going to put it on the ground and get a good tap, get air out of it. Okay. Now I have soap left over, and that's alright. I'll show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead. Now you notice this has a pin right there that holds the center divider in place. I'm going to pull that out and lift the divider out and just stick it aside for the moment. And I'll show you when I'm done. What I'm going to do though, instead of just pulling this straight out, I'm going to pull this and I'm going to turn it a full complete turn. But unfortunately you can't see this because of my camera and my limited digital capability. But here we go. Lift it, split up a little bit. Just okay. This is still not working the way it's supposed to. I'm going to put a tool in here to help me turn it. And hopefully, on top it doesn't look like it's supposed to, but hopefully when I take this out and when I get it through the rest of the soap, it will look the way it's supposed to. We'll go ahead and lift this divider out. And of course that's left a pretty sizable cavity inside, which is fine. I'm going to go ahead and tap this down again. I'm going to go ahead and spray it with alcohol. And the good thing about this, the only surface that's exposed is right here on top this little bit. So there hopefully won't be any issues with soda ash. And I'm done with this mold. I'm going to set it back. Now, I'm finished here. Hopefully all this wood is going to let this go through gel phase. Now, what we have here, got somewhat of a mess. All that on there, all that in there. I'm going to take my spatula and scrape that off. I'm going to do somewhat of a drop swirl. Well, this is a little thick for a drop swirl, but I have quite a good bit of soap here. I'm going to take this, just give it a bit of a swirl in here, and put it in my muffin molds. And get about 3 decent sized muffins here. Smooth those out. I'm going to spray these with alcohol. And the last time I did this made a nice bar of soap, and that tenfold oil really held well. Now look what's happening here. That's what happened before, and you all see I've got a thick trace. Look there at the bottom. See that coming out? I'm going to leave it. I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to leave it. I may have ruined this batch using this mold, but anyway, we're going to see what happens tomorrow. I'm going to let this sit up. This is a good thick batter. That should not have happened. This molder is even lined inside. But we're going to see what happens. Thanks for watching, and I will see you later for the cutting. I don't know how long this is going to take because normally my soap will be ready in 8 to 10 hours, but this is a 10% super fat. It's probably going to take longer, so I'll see you when I feel that it's ready to open up and cut. Thanks for watching. See you later. Bye.